Well, I will be the fish of a monkey's uncle, or some words like that, because we have just entered a very scary but amazing time in WWE. And whoever did come up with the phrase never say never in pro wrestling, well, they must have been a time traveler, and they must have gone to every timeline, and they knew this was happening, and now we all have eggs on our face. Also, hello, my friends, welcome ups and downs to Elimination Chamber. That's right, I am in a hotel, because some bald idiot was gonna take this week off. I mean, not the Elimination Chamber, but from tomorrow. And every time I see to do this kind of stuff happens. But my gosh, it was seismic. Triple H was telling the truth, so for now, let us up those downs. Here's the other thing as well. The Elimination Chamber did kick off with the Women's Chamber, and we're not talking about this enough for obvious reasons. I do understand it, because this was flipping great. It was also Bianca Belair versus Naomi versus Liv Morgan versus Roxanne Perez versus Bayley versus Alexa Bliss versus maybe somebody else, and I haven't said them. My brain is overcome at the moment. But essentially, we start with Liv Morgan versus Naomi, which makes all the sense in the world. They do hate each other. When Jade Cargill was like, I've had enough of people throwing me into vehicles, she walked to the ring. The commentators are all like, oh, she's going to beat up Liv, who sold it wonderfully, by the way. She is absolutely one of WWE's MVPs right now. She gets better and better. But when Jade got in the ring, given the door was still open, she made a beeline for Naomi and she whooped her ass. And this was super duper interesting because Naomi, Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan were all wearing white and Jade Cargill was wearing black. That has to tie in. But Bianca was very concerned that her friend was being beaten up, as opposed to, oh my gosh, maybe she did do it. Now we're speculating here, but maybe it's going to turn out it was a double hit job and these two are still in cahoots. Especially given who Bianca Belair is now wrestling at WrestleMania, this could turn out to be one hell of an angle. I mean, Cargill even took Naomi's head and smashed it into one of the pods, as once again Bianca was like, no. And Naomi got stretchered out of there. That was it. She was done. She wasn't coming back. And Jade was like, see you, pal. And she left too. Now, Bianca Belair was so damn concerned, like I do say, that eventually she did get in the chamber properly, when she was also joined by Bayley and Roxanne Perez. Now that sounds like I'm downplaying it, but it was such a big hoorah to start the thing. Even though the wrestling was very good, you kind of did stare off into the distance. You're like, oh my gosh, this is only the first match. Alexa Bliss entered last, and after whipping everybody, she went after Liv Morgan. So you know my daft prediction here. I think we're going to do a multi-person women's tag team match at WrestleMania. One of the teams will be Alexa and Nikki Cross when she rejoins the Wyatt Six. And do it, damn it, I miss Nikki Cross. The most interesting part is when Bayley and Morgan were throwing each other into pods, when Morgan just hit the most devastating move in all of Sports Entertainment Surprise roll-up. It was gibberish. And she pinned Bayley. And I was like, well, there goes my other prediction. I thought this was going to have something to do with Roxanne. It was not. Belair and Liv then fought on top of a pod, because why wouldn't you do that? And Bianca whipped her so hard with her hair, it left a welt, and obviously I couldn't comprehend that one. Went over my bald head when Belair jumped off the top of that thing with a crossbody, because everybody's crazy in the chamber. This is when Alexa Bliss started getting into it with Roxanne Perez too, and she hit the Twisted Bliss, and Roxy was gone. So once again, maybe we are going to do a big old match at Mania. It also meant we were down to Liv, Belair and Bliss, which was quite damn exciting. And essentially, even though Alexa was able to get the Abigail DDT, Liv was like, no, I'm not letting you get away with that. And she hit the most devastating move in all of Sports Entertainment. It's a pros roll-up. And she got the 1, 2, 3, and she was gone. And I realized I made a mistake. It was the second time she got the surprise roll-up. And Liv Morgan eliminated Bayley with the Oblivion. So I've ruined the comments now, because people will have already reacted. But that's on me. Can't lie. I am recording this right after watching the Elimination Chamber. I'm a little bit pumped up. Anyway, the point is it got down to Bianca versus Liv Morgan, and when Liv tried for another Oblivion, Bianca caught her, gave her the KOD, 1, 2, 3. She's going to WrestleMania. We also had Rhea Ripley appear behind her and Io Sky, because you know the deal with wrestling. If we all look at each other and stare, it does mean it's super serious. Again, maybe Bianca Belair does go heel. Maybe we do the three-way, and Bianca Belair walks away as the champion, as a bad guy. And in many ways, I want to see that because she's such a good baby face. But as we have learned on this evening, we've got to try new things, man. Genuinely, though, this was really, really good. When something was always going to have to be caught awry and sort of be pushed off into the distance, given everything that was going to happen. So it was Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus taking on Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. It was fine. It was all right. It did the job. It was super nice seeing Tiffy and Trish together because they went all in on the tag team stuff. But I mean, there's not really that much to say about it. Tiffany Stratton got the hot tag. Trish Stratus did a super Stratusfaction, and who doesn't want that? Then at one point, Candice tried to save her partner. She accidentally squished Nia Jax. Tiffany got the hot tag, PMA, and she pinned Nia Jax for the 1, 2, 3. It was a good win for Tiffany, who finally can now go into her feud with Charlotte Flair properly, which has been so wishy-washy. And you could do something like Nia Jax versus Trish at WrestleMania. I think Strat should be involved. It should not be a one and done, even though we were in our hometown. This was just feel good, I suppose. Like on any other show, we'd be talking about it more. But on this one, well, we'll probably never talk about it again. Still getting it up. We then saw the soon-to-be heel Travis Scott in the back. Honestly, I can't believe I get to say that sentence. When it was time for the unsanctioned match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now this is another match that I think in a few days' time, when the dust has settled and the smoke has cleared, we'll be like, oh my gosh, this was good. And of course, the referee was wearing black because he attacked Jade Cargill. Sorry, because it was an unsanctioned match. So because of that, this match just had an air of danger. Mouse. They went to war instantly as well because they were throwing each other into the ring post and producing chairs, and we had trash cans. And essentially just like, I'm going to hit you with a weapon. And the other guy was like, well, I'm going to hit you with a weapon harder. I was like, man, Sami Zayn was telling the truth. They don't flub and care. Eventually, Harry the hockey stick got introduced, but actually, even though Sam tried to use it, Kevin Owens got the better of it. When he bit Sami Zayn, I was like, man, if this turns into cannibalism, I'm turning off. Owens then started building the most terrifying table structure you'd ever seen in your life, when Sami Zayn decided to use the least devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the Blue Thunder Bomb. Did it work? Of course it didn't. He even did a mega one here with Kevin going into tables and chairs and all manner of things. And did it help? No, it didn't help there too. The biggest bump that we saw was when all of a sudden Sami Zayn climbed up to the top rope and KO went boop and threw him off. Honestly. Sami Zayn fell through this horrible table structure, and it was on the outside, so he landed on the floor. I mean, if we had ended it there, I would have understood, but it carried on. Kevin then hit the most horrible fisherman bust you've ever seen in your life, when Sami Zayn started to hit half and half exploders, one of which was onto a chair that was basically stood upright. So if we see Kevin Owens on SmackDown doesn't have a head, we'll know why. Sam then learned once again he needs to stop doing the helluva kick because he missed Kevin Owens and took out the referee. But this was so good because another referee came down, Kevin Owens hit the stunner, and because he only got the 1-2, Kev just took that guy out straight away too. Unsanctioned match. The second fisherman buster he hit has to be seen to be believed as well, and that also got a 1-2 as we got to another referee. And then somehow this got even more nuts. Because even though Zayn finally got the helluva kick, that didn't work. So what did he went to get? A barbed wire chair. And honestly, the crowd actually gasped. Now, he did hesitate a little bit, but he told us he was going to be an unhinged maniac. So not only did he whack Kevin Owens, but he drop-toe held his face into it, and Kevin Owens sort of like, I'm blind. Just think about that for a second. Now we're taking out people's eyes, ring Rey Mysterio. And then laugh because Sami Zayn got into the construction business, and he just built the most stupid thing you've ever seen in your life. But actually, it came back to haunt him. He got destroyed by this as Kevin Owens went to the outside and called upon 2024 KO, and he just powerbombed him into the ring apron over and over again. Now, one, that is the hardest part of the ring, but two, this is why context is king. We see ring apron bumps all of the time, but because we were selling it like death, it did make you feel a bit wibbly-jibbly and uncomfortable. It also so worked because Owens then grabbed Sam, threw him in the ring, and he just pinned him like he was dead. But because he still was moving like a fish, of course, Kevin decided, well, now I'm going to expose the concrete floor, and I'll give him a power driver. I was like, we are not in Kansas anymore, Toto. This is when we started to hear voices on our head, though, because Randy Orton did make his big return. Poor Randy Orton. At Survivor Series, CM Punk stole his thunder, and John Cena did it here too, but everybody still went nuts. And not only did he give Kevin Owens the RKO, he was like, maybe I'll use a weapon, or maybe no, I'll punt you right in the head. He was going to do this too as a callback to the Legend Killer, I suppose, but man, the camera shot was so good because at the last minute, the WWE officials jumped in the ring, and they stopped him, but that's okay, because where shall we pay it off? WrestleMania. So all of this was money, and I just realized I didn't tell you about the part where Kevin Owens locked Sami Zayn's head, or trapped his head in that barbed wire chair, and threw it into the ring post, and that's when everybody thought it was, well, he's got a broken neck, which then tied into the finish too. To talk about emotion, and talk about tears, and talk about being invested, this is getting a massive up, and once again, the whole damn show was pretty bloody brilliant, especially because then it was the men's Elimination Chamber, and this was great too. It was also Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus John Cena versus Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest versus Logan Paul, and we started off with Drew versus Seth, and they hate each other. Must have gone into this match with charged finishers in their meters, and I hope they told the other person, because they were going for finishers. When that didn't work, they started throwing each other into the Elimination Chamber, and the whole time Punk was like, yeah, get him. He loved it. Damian Priest was eventually in, and he basically hit a razor's edge onto Seth Rollins over the top rope into Drew McIntyre, and Drew got inspired by that, so he then powerbombed Rollins onto Damian Priest. I turned into Seth's father. I was like, my poor boy. Logan Paul was in next, and after he had done a couple of moves and got booed, Damian just punched him right in the face, and I was like, satisfaction. John Cena followed all this, and of course the fans went wild, especially when he hit Logan Paul with an AA. And that got even more crazy, because Drew came flying in with a Claymore kick. He thought he was about to eliminate Big Match John when Damian went shrug emoji and hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, surprise roll-up, and he got rid of the Scottish Warrior. So I'm sorry, they must be fighting at WrestleMania, especially because the Elimination Chamber rules then kicked in, and Drew was like, well, I'm pissed now. He Claymored Damian right in the head. Logan Paul climbed to the top rope, he hit a frog splash, and he eliminated Damian Priest. I am never going to be able to get over that. CM Punk was the last guy in, and he just destroyed Logan once again to get a big pop, but this is so he could turn his head when he looked at John Cena, and John Cena looked at him. Our old rivals were about to fight. Now, Seth actually stopped that because he was like, you haven't been around for a while, Cena, and Punk is mine, which triggered the chaziest crane of events, which essentially ended with Logan Paul getting GTS by Punk, and Logan was gone too. I just want to say thank you, CM Punk. Thank you very much. It also been the last three were Seth Rollins, John Cena, and CM Punk. And Punk and Cena actually worked together to hit a heart attack on Seth Rollins so they could get into it. And they even had a big hug beforehand. And given what was going to happen at the end of the night, this hit doubly hard. But it was awesome to see them go to and fro again. We then teased all the finishes as Cena was going for the STFU, but Punk reversed that into the Anaconda Vice. And then we got surprise roll-up, teases, and a neck breaker from Punk, big pop. Cena then went to the top rope, but actually changed his direction when he saw Seth Rollins moving around, but he shouldn't have done that because we got an AA, which also got a 1-2-ooh, when all of a sudden Seth Rollins was hitting buckle bombs and stomps with the CM Punk, which gave us another 1-2-ooh, so I was wibbling and gibbling, what we gonna do? John then wanted his revenge with the AA, but Rollins got out of that, but he was pushed right into the GTS. He got smashed with that when John Cena finally hit the AA and Punk pinned him. So talk about protecting Seth Rollins. He got hit with the ultimate combo, and also, he was so damn good in this match, we do not give him the respect he deserves. It also meant we were down to Punk versus Cena, and they weren't smiling anymore. And honestly, they went right into this when once again the Elimination Chamber rules reared their head. Because Seth was just chilling in the corner. I think he remembered, oh yeah, I said over my dead body, Punk. So he just stomped him. And in hindsight, this was the best part of the match. John Cena didn't think twice about this. He was not Celine Dion. He dragged Punk back in the ring. He applied the STFU as Seth Rollins, who's an unhinged maniac, was shouting, die, die. Really made me laugh. But CM Punk did not have his out hours. He went night-night. John Cena just won the chamber, which means at WrestleMania, it's now John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. This was so damn good, though, especially in hindsight, so it is going to get an up. But now, obviously, we have to connect it with our main event segment. Because right away out came Travis Scott, obviously, The Rock, and Cody Rhodes, and that was so well thought out, because it meant John Cena was already in the ring. As The Rock, the final boss, went totally nuts as usual, going, I need your soul, and we're going to be together forever, and if you don't listen to me, you'll probably die. Now, Cody is just the best babyface, because he can say the corniest things, but they get you right in the tum-tum, because he was like, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson, I cannot sell you my soul, because I gave my soul to the ring and the fans years ago. I was like, damn it, Cody, you got me again. He also then told The Rock to fuck off, which got the biggest pop out of me. And John Cena acted like he was a kid at his first birthday party. To the point, he even decided, I'm going to hug you, Cody Rhodes. And then once again, shout out to the WWE production team, because we zoomed in right on John Cena's face. He looked pretty happy for a few seconds, and then he pulled the stereotypical traditional I've gone bad guy face all of a sudden. I couldn't believe it. When we cut back to The Rock, he did the whole cut your throat thing, which is also nuts. John Cena hit Cody Rhodes in the balls, oodalally. And the noise I made to this was totally insane. I had to watch it 32 times because I didn't believe it and I thought I was hallucinating. But then John Cena got the title, he got Cody's Rolex, and he just bludgeoned this guy. Plus, Travis Scott joined in, because why wouldn't he? And then The Rock, given that it's WrestleMania season, whipped Cody Rhodes with the belt. And honestly, I kid you not, my friends, Rhodes was bleeding. So this really was like trying to end a puppy's life, and it did end with these three stood over Cody Rhodes as once again the red stuff pulled out of his head, and John Cena raised the WWE title above his head. So if you are not planning to watch this today, what the hell are you doing, man? Even if you're like, I don't watch WWE, watch this. It's a generational thing. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. To do it again, you would have to have a baby face that existed for 25 years and refused to turn heel. And the fact he teamed up with The Rock. So I don't care if it's been planned for months. I don't care if they came up with this yesterday. It has made WrestleMania 41 so damn exciting. We have been doing ups and downs for like 10 years. I'm an old man these days. But this has to be one of the top 5 moments I have been privileged to review on this damn show, to the point. It doesn't just get an up, it gets a golden up. And the Elimination Chamber overall gets a golden up. This was a terrific pay-per-view, and we shall call it a B pay-per-view no more. Listen to me, I'm talking at 422 miles an hour because John Cena just turned heel. If I look out the window now, oh, surprise, surprise, it's raining cats and dogs. Hell just froze over. I am so damn excited. And shout out to John Cena. He could have just played the hits for 12 months, especially when all the fans are super duper into him. But he has just done a game-changing, industry-moving thingamajig that we will talk about forever. You'll be on your deathbed going, oh, I love you, my children, and I remember my wedding day. And also, where was I when John Cena turned heel? You may call that hyperbole, but not in my nerd life. This was absolutely perfect. Give it the Street Fighter. All right, now, let's take a breath. Drop me a comment below. What did you think about this? Even if you hated it, that's perfectly fine. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen right now to just continue talking about this. It's wonderful. Wrestling is the best. Bravo, WWE, for doing this. It truly was great. And this Cody Rhodes kickstarted a wrestling war, was so over, he made The Rock go bad guy. Now he's turned John Cena heel. Don't you tell me he's not a legend. He flippin' is. Goodbye.